Yeah, I mean, we can start this. I have a little bit of a kind of an outline just for some deeper dive customization stuff I want to show you. I'm recording right now, so Tammy and I gotta keep the cursing down. But what I'm gonna do is I can't say exactly when I'm gonna deliver, but I'm gonna record this and I'm gonna break some of those customizations down into individual videos and then add them to the resources page. So if I'm showing you how to add elements or the social media buttons or create a video email or create a Google form for requesting CMAs, I'll break those out and label them. I can't promise you I'm going to have it available today, but I'll get started working on it as soon as we get done with the class. So that should be helpful. That'll be a good resource to go back to. But yeah, I can kick this off. If anyone has any questions or experiences from their experience, maybe messing with the email campaigns or trying to do some customization. And y'all can also throw it in the chat as well. And like I said, we go back and read the chat to make sure we try to answer everyone's question. So on this call, and I start again. On this call, myself, our tech director, we have Melissa Anderson from Moxi Works. She's our Moxi account rep. Tony Zavaleta, our marketing director, is going to be on today. So if you have any questions about marketing, the strategy of, if you have any suggestions for some new campaigns that maybe you'd like to see, we're all ears. You can even type in those suggestions in the chat window. And then we got most of your sales and leasing managers on as well. So hit them up with questions if you have them. Swan's got some good answers about saving dollars and planting flowers. So she's going to send that video out in the coming weeks. So what I'll do then, I guess I'll go ahead, if we don't have any questions right now, I'm going to go ahead and kind of jump into that outline. And the first thing I was going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through the entire library of emails. So let me present. Apologize here. So does everyone see this campaigns tab for Amy Jones? I just want to make sure that was working. It was being a little glitchy. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes.
So one of the things, we went through the basic setup and the basic customization. I didn't really touch too much on the status. So awaiting setup or campaigns you've added that you need to run. Running or campaigns out there that are running that your clients are receiving the emails, and it gives you an open rate and an unsubscribe rate. Open rate is when they open and view the email. We don't get a click through yet, but that could be in the works. And then of course, how many people are unsubscribing, and you get notified as well on when someone unsubscribes. Pause campaigns. So you can pause the campaign if you want to rework it or add to it. And then run it again. You don't necessarily get to delete campaigns, but you can archive a campaign. If you want to stop a campaign and you archive it, just removes it kind of from everything, which you could go back and rerun if you wanted to at some point.
You can delete from archived, Edward. Just
you can delete from archive now? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, if you click into it, there's now a delete button.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, before I was talking, this is Brian at Moxi Works. He goes, don't create too many because you can't delete them yet.
We changed that based on feedback, so you can now.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And then the neighborhood news. So this is the original activity feed. You still have the activity feed in the dashboard, but you can go directly to your neighborhood news activity feed, see your open rate, your unsubscribe rate, and then you can view when it was sent to whom and when that person opened and or unsubscribed from neighborhood news. And I consider neighborhood news another campaign. So I'm going to go up to the top here to the library of emails. So if I click add from library, that's how we're able, and I showed you the different campaigns you can add. I'll also show you, if you guys, and since we're, we can say it all today, right? It's a Q&A and we're talking customization. you're in there and you want to mix and match or build what you want to, or you want to do a single newsletter email, all of our emails, all the emails that I've published to you guys are in here. It's 144 emails. I counted it this morning. So you can go in and mix and match. You can preview any of these emails, decide to use them, decide not to use them. Sorry. And then there's some that'll say not editable, and that's because, well, my understanding of that, one of the reasons it was built on the older platforms, you can't edit these or their older emails, but you can still use these. And I believe, yeah. So you can go back and you could reuse some of the older super funny puppy versions. That was the highest request I got after last class. So you can go back and reuse these and add these to your campaigns if you like. And just to update everyone, I verified that the Halloween email is set to go out on Friday the 30th, and I made sure all of the campaigns include the Halloween email. So yeah, you have use of any and all of our emails. You can click add to emails. That way, whenever you're creating a campaign, this email is available. Let me go back to my campaigns here. I'll jump back to the question window, see if we had any questions on that. So here I have my awaiting setup bulk video email campaign template sequential dates. I'm just going to jump onto this one, and I'm going to kind of go through the different features in the email editor. Apologize. My emails. Edit. Here, remember, this is where you edit your setup, your text, your preview text, your subject, header, footer. Then you click this to edit email content. So this brings up the email editor. And there's three different parts. There's rows, which allow you to build out different rows and or columns in your email. Let's say you want to have a split, like the side by side. Think about our newsletter, how we have image and text. This is what we use the rows section to build that out. If you want, and then if you want to add content, you have the content section here. These create web buttons, so it's a button that you title. I'll drop that in here. If you click on the button, here you're able to, and that takes you to the button style. So rows, content, style. So on the style, I can change the font, I can change the color of the text, the color of the button. And for the buttons, you click directly on the button and change, that's your call to action. And when you're editing the button and you're editing anything in this email editor, sometimes it's actually difficult. It's at the very bottom. And this is you can drop in the URL, the link right here at the very bottom when you're editing anything. So as far as content, you have button, divider. This basically just creates a visual divider. You can change the color of the divider. We use that in the newsletter. You can change it to yellow or gray or whatever you like. You have a text editor, which is just a simple drop-in what you see is what you get text editor, where you can change the format. You can add links to your text, bullets, center or alignment. And then the placeholder, I don't know how many there are, but these are merge fields that you can add. So you can say dear Mr., and you can put the contact's last name, right? So it has a lot of, when you're building an email, you can add or you can merge a lot of your information from your Moxi profile into your email or into your text. And then you can merge the contacts information, name, physical address, email, title, company, phone number, into your pre-written email. So within the text, if you have examples, obviously the first line of, hey, first name, this allows you to build out a signature at the bottom using your information. You can also drop in your email address, your website URL. So your website that you set up through Moxi and the website link within the Moxi profile will then merge into these emails. And I heard some, and I just want to say, if anyone has any questions, just drop it in the chat, or you can even just, there's 39 of us on, you can just ask me. I don't mind. I don't mind being interrupted. So that's the text editor. Within the text editor are the merge fields. Then you have image, and this just drops in an image placeholder. You double click the image and you just upload the image from your computer. So if I go here, I have Aaron's headshot there, but I'll do the stock photo. You can just drag it in. Apologize, I had 3 windows open doing this. But you double click it, you drag in your image. There is a size limit, but I haven't really maxed out the images yet. Let me cancel out of here. I'm just gonna refresh this page real quick because I clicked through too fast. And so one of the things we've begun to do is, so those of you who are Canva users, I've kind of gone back and added some email templates utilizing Canva. But using Canva, that allows you to overlay text over your images. So you can use Canva to do that, or you can use the other image. You'll see the other image icon down here, the hero image. This is actually, you can change this image out, but this allows you to put text over an image. And then you have text section, which is a title and some text. This is what we use in the newsletter when we have the side-by-side text here, content, right there. You can do image and title and text below it. Spacer is just a little, it's just like a smaller row. It just gives a little space between elements. And then I'm going to get into the social here. So group social, you have to do group. I do group social first, so it lines everything up. So if I want to put, or you want to put into your email templates, all of your social media icons, it defaults to Google, Facebook, and Twitter. But then you can grab another social element and add as many as you like. And then once you've added these elements, if you click on the element, you can change the icon to, these are all the different social elements you can add. So if you're putting out tracks on SoundCloud, you can add your SoundCloud account, and then you add the link to your SoundCloud account. Same thing with Facebook, you want to add the link. So, you know, like our Facebook is it's facebook.com/JBGoodwin Austin. That's the Austin Facebook page. Same thing with Twitter, Instagram. So you can add as many of these as you like. If you click on the social element here, you can make them larger or smaller. So those seem a little small to me. Boom, make them a little larger. So that allows you, and if you're creating your own templates or you're creating your own campaigns, you're only doing this, you know, let's say one time. You can add this to the newsletter every month if you want to go in when we publish a newsletter, grab the template that we provided, and then add your own social media icons. Does anyone have any questions about the social media? Mark started typing. Mark, what was the rest of your question? That's not
He's
coming
pausing
through.
for dramatic effect.
Yeah, I think it's not coming through. I hear a little something, but it's not coming through. But Mark knows me. You can just email me, Mark, if you have questions about that. And then of course last is our listings module. You drag that in. When you drag it in, and can y'all see the pop-up that's where it says add listings? I just want to make sure. You can just type in an MLS number. I'm going to search this one out. This is one I used before. You type in your MLS number. It actually pulls from any MLS number. We just need to be careful about, obviously using another agent's or broker's listing. And here, this is the landing page. It'll be the listing page on the agent website. You can add a custom URL if you want here. Maybe if you want to drive them to, some of you guys use like Twist Tours and they give you a listing landing page or a single property site. You can drop the custom URL. If you don't have a website, then this just takes you to the property information page for that listing. Click done. It'll load up in a few seconds. It inserts your listing. It's pulling some of this information from the MLS. We don't get to edit this, but one thing I've done is I've gone in here, content, and you can add in text above or below to describe your listing, if you like, or a call to action to tell people to click there to view more information on that listing. Now, that was a real quick overview of the content. You can get in a little, you can dive in a little deeper on these, and I will if anybody likes, or if anyone has any specific questions or would like me to go back and describe one of these content pieces that I quickly went over. Does anyone have any questions on the content piece? One of the things I will say is when you're in here, there can be a lot to the style section. Just don't get too intimidated. Really, you're just gonna edit a few things in the style, right? So the text, it's even less. There's not a need to do a lot of edits in here, but style is where you change the background colors. You can change the padding, which is the space at the top or the bottom of an element. You can change the text color, the different border colors. So there's a lot of selections here, and this is kind of where most people get hung up. But I'd say don't worry about it too much. Really, you're just going to change size and color, and a lot of these other items you can just ignore. So size, color, and then at the very bottom, adding in the URL, the link. That's really the only thing you need to focus on at this point. When we're done, we would hit continue, save, and like I said before, I'm going to go back and click edit. Here, always label your emails. So as someone who's put 140 emails in the system, I know how important it is now to label your emails, right? So if I'm creating a custom email, right, for a specific campaign, label that email so you can keep it organized. There's no folders in here, so you have to go by your labels. And once you've labeled it, you now know that you've edited the email as well.
And Edward, on the page you were on before, I always recommend when you're creating your own email, sending yourself a test to view kind of what it's going to look like.
Yeah, send yourself a test, and that's going to it's going to automatically default to your email, and then that'll come into Amy Jones's email account here. I'm gonna pause presenting real quick. Let's see.
Hey, Edward,
Yes.
while you're doing that label that we put on those emails, that's just for our viewing, right? It's not the subject line of the email or not anything that the client is going to see, correct?
Correct. So this, I'm just real quickly showing you, this is the preview email. It's nice because you can preview it in the system, but it's nice to send a test to make sure you didn't put something in that looks terrible once it goes through like Gmail. But yeah, let me show you real quick here. You're right, Tammy. So you edit the name. This is just for your labeling. On the email setup, that's where you can change your subject and preview text. It's probably one thing that I forget most often is to change the subject. I have to put a subject in to create a template, and I usually just put hello, right? So no one accidentally sends out something that says, default or something. But be sure to go in and change your subject lines. And Tony Zavaleta, our marketing director, I mean, he chooses this, he spends time creating those subjects and that preview text for all of our newsletters and other emails, because the goal is, right, to get them to initially open it, then you're providing them with some value, and then hopefully you've started a conversation. I'm not allowed to create the subject, so I'm not a writer. But typically it's the what I've noticed is obviously the subject and the preview text pertains to something that's within the email, and it's a bit of a call to action, or it's not clickbait, but it makes you want to open it and see and read more. Basically, that's what I get from it when I view those. And if I start clicking too fast, you guys tell me what I can do now is I can actually jump into creating some of these. And the CMA request is one of the ones that requires 2 pieces of tech, but I think it's a lot of fun, and it's all available to us, and it's free to do. So let me real quickly show you here. I'm gonna go to My Campaigns, Add from Library. And Melissa, I joked, I was like, I gotta have jokes for when it's spinning and we're all waiting. I'm gonna.
We're working on some improvements actually that I'm excited for. I know the spinning, while it's loading, things can be like, come on, especially when you have 10 minutes to do something. But I hear you. I'm sorry I took your joke time.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You filled it. So here, you saw me just scrolling through, and I need to find a campaign. As we add more campaigns, it's going to be more difficult to find them. What I do here, and I'm using a Windows computer, I hit Control F, and you can see it brings up this search, and you can just start typing the campaign name, and that's just kind of a little tip. I'm typing sequential days because I want to use that template, so I know that's in the title. I'm going to add to campaigns. Now here under waiting setup, sequential days, I want to edit the email. Here I'm going to click edit. This is the email associated with that campaign. And sometimes just because I am this person and I live in files and tech, I kind of like to put dates on a lot of stuff too when I label it. Then I can change my subject. Or, this Tony would recommend you could say, Tony, you can tell me score me on a scale of 1 to 10 how good this subject and preview text is. I want to include my header and footer because I want all my information on the email, and I'm going to click edit email content. So what I'm building is I want to build a one-time bulk email that allows people to request a home valuation, right? You can send unsolicited CMAs, which you should do as well. But let's say you don't have the home address, you don't know all the details about their home. You can send this out to your database, allowing them to request that CMA. And then, of course, you take their information, you go into Moxi Present, you build the CMA, and you email it back to the client. And Erin may speak, she may have a few other steps. Don't let me, I'm not here to be a sales coach today, but that's how the process would work. So here, I want to change this template. So let's say we have a property value, and we're going to add more and improve upon some of these templates. So it's going to ask me to confirm. So this is a what is your home worth? Add your text, edit the text here. But here is my button, click here to get your personalized home valuation. Now you would just click that, scroll to the very bottom, and add in a URL, right? Because that's you want to add in that landing page so they can request a CMA. So let me show you real quick, if you want to use a Google form to do that, I'm just going to open a new tab. Go to the top right, click the 9 boxes. Scroll down and look for purple forms. So Google Forms is available to everyone in the brokerage. And we have a template here. So template gallery, if you click this, you see the general and the JBGoodwin realtors. I have an open house sign up form you can use, right, when we go back to in-person open houses. I also have a home valuation form. So if you just click on this template, this is a pre-built home valuation form. It just says, you know, first name, last name, email, phone number, street address, city, state, zip. That gives you enough information to look up their property, right? But if you can also add questions in here, this is now your Google form. So if I want to add a question, we're going to drop it here. So drop to the question 1. I'm going to drag it to the end. Drag that one up. So you could just say question option 1. You can label the question and you could just say, you know, tell me about your home or tell me about your buying and selling needs. And Google automatically recognizes that I typed in that this is going to be a long answer text. So it automatically chooses that for you. One very important thing I want to show you, and I'll highlight this when I chop this up into small videos. You want to click settings and unclick this. I'm going to see if I can do this at the parent template, but I've had to do this on almost everything since we're part of what's called a Google domain, JBGoodwin.com. It was defaulting to restrict to JBGoodwin users and its trusted organizations. Unclick the sign in so anyone can fill this out. Save. And then if you click the little eyeball at the top, preview, that's my link. I can go back to here, scroll to the very bottom, drop in the URL, and you can also click on the image, scroll to the very bottom. Yep. And it's hidden. It's on it. You can add a link to the images, but it's hidden because I'm presenting and that shrinks my screen. But you scroll to the very bottom again, and you drop a link into the image if you like as well. But be sure to put it here on the button, very bottom. You can add your image URL. So if I wanted to preview that, this is what the recipient view is going to be. Close it out, continue, send myself a test email, send test. And of course, it's not going to work because I'm teaching a class today, but this one, you especially want to send yourself a test. Give it a minute to come through. And you want to test that link. Any links you create, you want to test. We have a pretty vigorous testing program for the newsletter and to making sure the links work. Click that. This is the recipient view. Click here to get your personalized home valuation. Takes you to the Google form. Once they submit that, you get an email, this person submitted. If you don't have them in Moxi Engage, go to Moxi Engage, add the person, add the notes. If you do update any notes you have, you know, the property information, go to Moxi Present, create that CMA, email it to the client. And also on the home valuation form, you can add some description and maybe Tony's probably I haven't showed this to Tony yet. He'll help me maybe add a little description on what they're filling out and what they'll receive when they fill this out. Okay, I'm gonna stop presenting just for a second because you know, you don't want to hear too much of just me talking. I'm gonna check the questions real quick. No, yeah, Karen said no need to make a copy of the Google form. Yeah, so those templates, you just click on it and it just creates a form for you. I didn't do it. You can label your forms, so you can just go back to templates, click it, and you can say this is my CMA request form. You can change that into anything you want, right? Any kind of sign up form. That's also what I use for the newsletter sign up. So you can use a Google form. You can put it on your Moxi site. You could put it on your email signature. So we have a sign up for the neighborhood news link that Moxi provides, but you could use the Google Forms to create a newsletter sign up form as well. Do you have any questions about that? I always do like a post, a follow up, right? Google has specific instructions in creating forms, and there's like a ton of stuff you can do with it. I'll add that as well. Aaron, do you think my process, I said, hey, you build a CMA email, you send that out to your contacts, they have a Google form, and then you follow up with Moxi Present. Is that correct? Do you have,
That's exactly what I would do, 100%.
Sales wise, is there anything else they should be doing? Meaning like sales coaching wise? I know I'm just being technical. Or is that it?
No, I think it's great. I mean, quite a few of our agents are using Google Forms, both for market analysis, or if you have buyers expressing an interest, we have actually a template that's a Google form for your home, your dream home wish list, something of that sort.
Okay.
And we actually have that set up so you guys can find that on the drive and just make a copy of it. So it's your own, and make any alterations to it if you would like. And that's another option. And those actually text really nicely too. If you share that link, text it, you can post it on social media, and then you can send those direct emails through campaigns. I love all of those options.
I'll grab that that other one, the buyer one, and I'll put it into the company template as well.
Awesome.
So you can click on it. But yeah, that's a good idea, and that goes with, because we have the buyer consultation, not only the JBG created slides, but you can create that whole buyer CMA. It's not a CMA, but it's property. I call it like online property preview. And I think if you associate when you associate the contact with the buyer CMA, they then can rank in the homes and make notes, and then you can go and review their notes.
And I know that's next level thinking. Any of the folks that are on the call, does anybody want to see an example of just setting up basic campaigns again, neighborhood news, any of those, or have you guys done that? Just kind of wanted to ask requests there.
Carol asked for the link for the templates on the hub. It's not actually on the hub. It's I could put a link on the hub. That's not a bad idea. But you can also just go to the Google Form program. Jenny, what's the title? The title of the template? Is that what you're asking, Jenny? I know Jenny. Okay, so you type. Yeah. It just says home valuation or CMA, I believe. They only have two templates, two company templates. And Gage asks, what if you already have the customer address? How would you set up the email? Oh, if you already have their address, then I would just send an unsolicited CMA through Moxi Present. And then then you're like, then it's surprise, I've already done this for you. Nini, you said yes, please. And is that to Aaron's, just the basic campaign setup? Okay, everyone's saying yes.
Yeah, I'd say let's do the back to basics.
Yeah.
Several of our folks have just uploaded or added some contacts, whether they're working their neighborhood or pulled over from MLS. So Edward, if we could show them how to filter for a whole group maybe, or filter, go to their contacts, add all contacts to the neighborhood news. Or I'm sorry, not neighborhood news, the newsletter group, sorry.
No, it's all right.
And show them a mass subscription for that. That would be helpful.
So Aaron, you can see my screen again, just to make sure.
Yep, we got you.
Okay, so I'm back here in my campaigns. I'm gonna move my mouse over people, go to my people. So one of the things, and Aaron was talking about the select all, what you can do, I'm going to show you, or you can pre-filter, right? So if I say filter, let's say I'm going to select all my A group because I've already segmented. Then I select all. So you can pre-filter, select all, add to groups, and this brings up all your different groups. So I'm going to add everyone to my newsletter and my holiday campaign. done. And like I said, here you could click add to campaigns from here. I prefer the groups because this allows you to move groups easily from campaign to campaign, right? You're just managing the group, the segmentation. And if you ever do anything and you break your campaign, you don't have to go back in and figure out who you had added to that specific campaign. And this will become very important when we start on week 4. We discuss lead sources and segmentation and follow-up conversion. So for you guys who are into that, and you're finding yourself generating, I say leads, but just adding a lot of new contacts, the group function is going to be very, very important. And then of course, here at Neighborhood News, this other one, you can do quick, and it brings up everyone's zip code. You could use the same zip for everyone if you wanted to, or just punch in zip codes here. But this is my A group. I don't want to do the quick. I want to give them the custom Neighborhood News. You go here, Neighborhood News, custom. And this loads, okay. And this will actually take you through each contact. So Melissa, well, let me ask Melissa real quick. I've tested this on a group. Is it going to give me the custom for everyone, or does it walk me through each contact?
If you do it in the way that you just showed, it's going to do it for all the 7 people that you have selected. Okay. So that's the best way to do it. So you're not having to, like, especially if you're drawing onto the map, you don't want to do that 7 times or 100 times.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me back that up. What I just said is something I found digging through the system. Yes, this one gives you the same custom search for everyone. So let's say maybe you have a neighborhood, right? Well, Aaron has everyone putting their neighbors in. You can do the neighborhood search for everyone in that neighborhood group. So I just came full circle and promoted Aaron's project. So you come full circle, you select your neighborhood group, right? Apply that. You can select all, add to Neighborhood News, custom. Then you can set up the Neighborhood News for that neighborhood, and it's going to then send that out to everyone. It's going to subscribe everyone in that group. So you don't have to go through individually. Does that save you a lot of time, Aaron? Now I'm going to go back to campaigns real quick. So let's say I've set up the Neighborhood News for that group. Now here, campaigns, just like I showed you, you can add from library. It comes in here to waiting setup. Then you go into your email. You edit your emails. If you want to create additional emails, you can just create a copy and duplicate the email here. Let's say if you're going to create more sequential emails. Once that's done and you're happy with the way the email looks, then you can go back to My Campaign, click on the campaign. Then we're going to associate our group and run the campaign. It's that simple. You can preview your emails, add people, add your groups here. Next, you can remove anyone that's in the group from the campaign if you like. At this point, click Save. And then we just run the campaign. Now, if you're adding additional emails or you want to change the schedule, you can click Edit Schedule here.
Hi, Ed. Can you repeat again if I want somebody to be removed on one of the neighborhood? She just wants me to do it for her.
I'll show you it to be removed from Neighborhood News.
Yes.
Yeah, I can go back.
Just
oh yeah, I'll go back and show you that. And then here you can change the days. You can add additional emails, right? So many days later. So going back to just this initial campaign that I was setting up, I just want to send out, right, just one bulk video email for our campaign. I want to send out one email or one CMA request. You can just leave it at 1 day after start, or you can put 0 days, and then whenever you run it, it's going to send out the email to that group immediately. So I'll quickly just go right back. So I'm going to add in, go to campaigns. Once that loads up, I'll hit Control F. And I go to sequential. I just start typing in sequential. I'm gonna add that to campaigns. Close. Go over, jump over to my email. Edit this email, label it. Edit my setup. Hello, preview text, header, footer, save that. Build my email. I'm going to use a company template. I'm going to change the template here.
Slow down just a little bit for us, Edward.
Okay, so I was going fast because I've done this. I just want to make sure. But I'm also recording it, so whoever views it later is their ears are gonna smoke. I'm gonna click the property value template, confirm that. Scroll down to my button. I need a URL here, so let me open a tab. Click the 9 Google boxes here. Scroll down to forms. Click on templates here at the top. Here's the JBG templates. Click on the home valuation. I'm going to change that setting so anyone can apply. Save. Click the eyeball. I'm going to grab this URL. Click on the button, scroll to the very bottom, drop in the URL. Send myself a test so I can test the email and the link. Save that. Go back to my campaigns. Now I'm going to edit the campaign title and I'm going to edit the days, add the people. So here, this is save that. I think it's saved. Add people, add my group. Next, save. So I can edit my schedule. This is going to go out tomorrow. That's fine with me. If I want it to go out today. And the email matches up with the email I just edited because I'm adding a campaign with one email and I added the email associated with that campaign template. You could switch it out from here if you wanted to. But I'm going to go out, I'm going to do day 0. Preview. Save. Takes just a second here. And then all I click is run, and it's going to fire that email out. Now, we want to be pretty purposeful and mindful with these. You can send more than 200 emails. Google's limit is 200, but you don't want to put, I still think segmentation is key, so you don't want to put thousands of contacts on this individual email, right? We don't want to make the email gods too angry. And we're gonna be going through the Moxi servers, so you know, you can go above the Google's 200 limit, but I just suggest not do into the thousands. Let's segment a little bit. And most of y'all, your neighborhoods, I've seen you. It's into the hundreds, which should be fine. All the different neighborhood lists I've seen. But from here, I would just run campaign. That email, day 0, is going to go out. It's going to start going out if you have 200 people over the next, hour.
One application for the CMA email, just to consider, I know some of you are using Moxi Insights, which we're going to talk about. I believe that's next week. Correct me if I'm wrong, Edward. Some of you are utilizing Moxi Insights, which scrubs your database and tells you who's most likely to be selling in the near future. And that would be a really great targeted campaign to consider for those individuals that are highly likely to be selling. So for those of you who are looking for an additional touch there. I want to kind of go back to basics. We have some wide eyes in Windows, so I want to go back to basics and kind of talk through this a little bit. So in training on Wednesday, we discussed different types of campaigns, and just like Edward just went through for you, we have those campaigns that are sequential. They're just sent out on a regular basis. So our newsletter, your neighborhood news, which you have to individually describe people or subscribe people to. But the newsletter is an example of something that we have that set to go out the first week of every month. So I just want you guys to know what I would recommend, and what Edward's shown you is when you're setting up your newsletter campaign for San Antonio or your Austin newsletter, set it up to go to the group newsletter, and then anybody you subscribe or you label in the group newsletter, the next time that newsletter goes out, it's going to go out to that individual. Just want to make sure everybody understands that. So those sequential that just go out on a monthly basis, or the holiday days that go out on specific days of the year, you can subscribe people anytime. If you have that campaign set up to go to a specific group, for instance, you've created a group called newsletter, then anytime you label somebody that you might call them your A list, you might group them into the A list, plus you group them into the newsletter list, plus you group them into veterans. But if you have them in those newsletter lists, that campaign will go out to them the next time it's due, the first of next month. Does that make sense to everybody? Those that are set up on, and they're the date driven, so for instance, the warm buyer lead, where things are set up to go out to day 0 that you add somebody to that group, and then day 7, those are set up so that, let's say you meet John Smith tomorrow and you label them or you set them up for that campaign, they're always going to be subscribed, and the day you subscribe them is going to be day 0. So they don't pick up where it's already been running. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions there? No, you guys are all next level thinkers. Love it.
Hello.
I almost said yes, Aaron. I almost replied yes, and I was like, wait. Yeah, I do. Yes, I understand. But I get into Aaron starts teaching, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Sorry, go ahead, Jenny. I interrupted you.
Sorry, it's okay. So my contacts from I group that on Google Contacts as newsletter. So some of my friends are getting them because sometimes they respond to me, oh, nice email. And then as I go to Moxi Engage, go to my campaign, and then San Antonio area client newsletter, and I go there, though it says on the bottom sync. I just want to know who receives, who opened my newsletter on that campaign. How can I see them that they open it?
So Melissa might be able to answer this. An individual opening a campaign email, Melissa, so what she's asking for.
Yeah, because I label them from Google Contact, not from Moxi Engage.
Yeah,
so right now
sorry, go ahead, Melissa.
So right now we do provide a high level of analytics that Edward's showing right now. So you can see for each campaign what the open rate and the unsubscribes are. Unsubscribes, you can see at an individual level who's unsubscribed from the campaign, but the open rate doesn't allow you to see who has actually opened the email. We do have plans for that so that you can reach out and eventually show who's opening your content, who you should maybe be engaging with. We're not quite there yet, though, so you're not missing anything. It doesn't show who has opened the email that you've sent it to. And that's why I think the call to actions that you're including are super important depending on the content. So if you want them to take a specific action, like reach out to you, for example, to request a CMA for kind of what their home is worth, that's why those are super important right now. But just know that we do have plans to add in that activity so that you can see who is engaging with your content.
Okay, so now I'm in my Moxi Engage. I click my campaign, San Antonio area. I click my the people, and then it says here, uh-oh, the campaign isn't being sent to anyone. So it says, do I have to subscribe them from Moxi, which I already put them on my Google group, on Google Contact. So do I have to do that again redundantly?
Oh, so initially, so you're saying you created a newsletter group, a newsletter label in Google Contacts, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's our default when I come into JBGoodwin, and I just click on to the most of the people that I know. So I put them on there, and then now I'm playing around here in Moxi Engage.
You want to add, so the groups will sync, the labels will sync over from Google Contacts, will sync over to Moxi Engage groups. What you need to do is go, if you're seeing the people screen here, like I should be presenting, click on add people and then select your group. And you just do that one time. And then anyone you add to that group will start receiving those campaign emails.
So are they going to receive twice? Because most of the one that I've sent are receiving already, because they're part of the Google Contact newsletter group.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you've got the Google Contact newsletter group associated with that campaign already?
Yes. So here's my sequence. Whenever I meet somebody, I put them on my Google Contact. I label them as the newsletter. And then, because I'm not really proficient yet on Moxi Engage, so that's how my spiel goes. And then now I'm trying to incorporate Moxi Engage on my job.
Yeah.
So now on my newsletter, I don't see any people in there. How can I put together that it won't be redundant on my?
Let's do this
with that.
Well,
Jenny,
yeah.
come see me, because the process should be that you go into. Do you mind if I steal your screen, Edward?
While you're going over that, I'll take a look too to see if I can provide any insight.
Well, you know, and Aaron, let me actually do this, because I can just send a request to Jenny, and I can look at her entire, and Melissa and I can look at her account.
Awesome.
But I can show the process, but that was that process of, creating the campaign and adding the group. Anyone that wants to in messages, you can hit me with a message if you want me to. It's really a link I'll send you. I have like a 30-second video. But Jenny, you'll get a request from me. Just click yes, and it lets me look in there. Alessandra did ask about the adding the social media tags to newsletter. There's a few minutes left. I mean, I can go over, right? I can talk Moxi all day, but you guys got to sell real estate. Do you want me to quickly show that? Is everybody comfortable with that? Okay, let me see real quick.
Well, you pull that up. I'll just kind of talk through those steps again, Edward, for everybody. So what Jenny was talking about for subscribing people to the newsletter, my personal practice, I logged into my people in Moxi. I selected all, and I added them to the group newsletter. That meant that everybody I had in my database was in a designated group called newsletter. And then we actually have to tell our newsletter campaign who we want to send that to. So that's what Edward was just showing. So then we go to our campaign, and the system says, what people do you want to receive that campaign? And that's where we add people on the right and say, I want to add it to everybody that I applied to the newsletter group. So that should be start to finish. And I personally, our newsletter, it does have local content, but it has great tips for homeowners in general. So for me, whether they're local or they're out of town folks, I subscribe them to my newsletter, and that's that monthly reminder. We mix in leading RE materials for you, so it's pertinent to those folks that might be out of our market. And that would be something that everybody on this call, I encourage you to do. So categorize, group all of your people into a newsletter group, and then tell that campaign in Moxi that you want to send that newsletter to everybody that's in the newsletter group. Hopefully that helped.
I followed along on the screen, so we recorded that. Aaron, we gotta do that more often. We could both work in tandem, and boom, now we have a bunch of training video.
I love it.
So I'm gonna quickly show you. So I'll say this: the newsletter is published every month. You get access to the newsletter. The goal is to notify your managers so they can announce on the Tuesday meeting. So it sends on Thursdays, which is at the end of the month or the very beginning of the month. It's that week. It sends on Thursday. We publish it and announce it on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you could go in and you can look at your running campaign. This is how you make sure that newsletter has been published. So if this is your running Austin area newsletter, like this, let it load up, scroll to the bottom, and you can see, awesome, this one, let's just pretend, right, this is, it's September 26. I'm like, great, the Austin newsletter October is ready to go. I can preview it here. But what I know now is I can go back to my emails. So when we publish that newsletter and add it to your campaign, it's also published to these to the emails here. Let me, and it'll be sitting at the top. I've been doing so much testing on this account. There you go. And I go down, I just type in October. Here's the Austin newsletter, October 2020. I then edit this email. Scroll down, edit email content. I'll say this, if you edit the schedule, your campaign will no longer automatically update with the emails that Tony and I create. So don't edit the schedule, but you can edit the individual email content. Now, if we make an update, it will not update your email, but we haven't done that yet. We haven't had to correct a mistake. And if we ever do correct a mistake, we would send out the edit so you could go back in and change that. But here, this is a newsletter, October. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, right? And keep in mind, you're going to have a footer with your information, right? Your information from your Moxi profile. But I've left some empty boxes here, these columns, so you can drag in your group social. Now, right now, this is something you'd have to do every month for the group social. We're working on a merge field with the Moxi profile that would automatically pull in the social profiles you've added to Moxi Engage. I'm not promising anything yet. Melissa's probably cringing that I'm telling you that right now. But it's something we've discussed. It's on the radar. So right now, you could drag this in and then edit those social elements. Yes, I want Facebook. Here's my Facebook URL. And when I say that, I mean, if I click here, if you're looking at your business page, this is your Facebook URL. So facebook.com/JBGoodwin Austin is the company URL. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Drop that into here. I just Control V. You want to make sure you see that full HTTP URL. And then you can switch to the next one and change that to your Insta, as everyone calls it. And then, of course, Snapchat. You can add all that here. Now, this process allows you to add anything. Add your content. If you want to add something that maybe you did a neighborhood write-up, you could add that here. But I also recommend is add your new listings. If you've just listed a property, add your listing to your newsletter, right? Hopefully you're sending out listing announcements, but never hurts to add it to your newsletter as well. And you can, from here, you could just drop in a text module, right? And do it Buddy Schilling style. And then on my font, the size, I can change this, increase it, or we can change to a heading, make it much larger. There you go. And then, like I said, this landing page is either going to be the property profile page. It's an independent page if you don't have a website. If you do have a website, it's going to be the property information page within your website. There's a contact me sticky button on that page. They can reach out to you if they want to learn more. So I click continue. Send yourself a test because you're messing with links. Save. So that you don't have to mess with a campaign. You just go search for the latest newsletter. Like I said, you get about 3 or 4 days to make any edits. It's going to start sending very early on Thursday morning. So Tuesday after the sales meeting, if you plan on making edits, plan on going in Tuesday after the sales meeting, adding to your newsletter, send yourself a test email, make sure it works, and then that'll automatically go down. So what you've done is you've updated the template that's attached to your campaign. You don't have to touch the campaign, just the email. That'll go out on Thursday. If you make any edits and you have issues, email me, Edward at JBGoodwin directly. If you've messed up your campaign, email me. I'll show you how to run it again, utilizing your group. It's literally like a couple minutes. So you can break this one, but we can fix it very easily.
Edward,
So,
could you point out where that synced little tag is? I know it's smaller, but just so everyone on the call knows in the recording.
oh yeah, this right here. This
Yeah,
means. So go ahead, Melissa. You explain it. You can do a better job.
You've got it covered, but I know it's a little bit hidden and sometimes can be missed. So if you do make any changes, that little synced indicator will disappear. And that's what tells you you're no longer synced to the JBGoodwin created email. So to Edward's point, if you do make a change, it then becomes your own version of that. We don't want you going crazy thinking, why are my changes being overwritten? So you have that both, as Edward's showing, at the campaign and at the email level. So definitely, I would say for the newsletter campaign that Edward's showing, don't make any changes to the frequency that's being sent or anything like that. Stay synced there, and then adjust the email if you want to for those newsletters.
That's a really, really important point. I'm glad you pointed that out. So everyone that's on the video, the class or the Q&A today, go into your campaigns, click on running, and especially the newsletter, make sure the sync is showing up. If not, just rerun it. Stop this one, hit edit and stop or pause the campaign, and then run a new one and just add your group, right? And that's why I say utilizing the group allows you to kick off the campaign just like that. And the kind of a success story is I was doing a class in here. I walked out the door. An agent stopped me. She had issues with her campaign. She changed the dates. We got it back up and running. She sent the last one out, and she got a buyer client immediately. So if you haven't been sending, let's get it back. Let's get it going. There's actual dollars to be made.
And I think Jenny's still on the call. I did check, and this I think is a great reminder for the statuses that are on the left on Edward's screen. So Jenny, I can see that you do have the campaign already running for the San Antonio area client newsletter, but you have one awaiting setup too. So you only have to download it once. You don't have to have it running twice. So make sure, Jenny, if you go to running, I can see you already have a bunch of people receiving your newsletter. So you just want to continue to add to that group. If you haven't, because you might already have that group subscribed. So I don't want to go into detail with how many people you have subscribed or anything like that. But if you check running, you'll see all of the campaigns that you already have running for emails being currently sent to your people.
Thank you very much, Melissa. That's why I wasn't lying when I said she's the best account manager we've had on any account.
Okay, so yeah, I saw that running, but I cannot see the people who open it, right? That's what you were explaining before, that you're on that project.
Yeah, so you can see the open rate for each individual email send. So if you click on open rate, it will show you at a high level for each email what the open rate is overall, but not for each individual contact. That's something that's down the line here at Moxi, something we would love to add, but isn't currently available. So right now it's at the campaign level as a whole, and then for each individual email send, if you click open rate, for one of these, like what Edward's showing on his screen right now, it'll show you the open rate for each individual send. So you can see how your October newsletter performed, you can see how your September newsletter performed, and so on.
Got it. Thank you.
Well, it's 12:05. Jenny, and if you have any follow-up questions, email me. We're here to help, and that's kind of one of the things I wasn't trying to cut you short earlier. I was just saying, hey, let's offline. We can also I can help answer any questions because I love this stuff, and I'm super excited when I walk out and an agent said, hey, I've just got a client. Alessandra just dropped in here and she said she had a buyer who received a newsletter and dropped her KW agent, and they're set to close November 6th. So there's money in this, and any of you who have a success story or something, share it with us, and then we'll ask you if we could share it with the company. We like to hear that. We need that feedback. And Melissa, I'm compiling this list to send over to you guys as well. but also campaign requests. Hey, I have an idea for this. Yeah, we need to do more leasing renter stuff because our brokerage focuses on leases more than other brokers, and that turns into buyers like Alessandra just talked about. Any issues, you can email, you can email us. If it's a technical issue or if a listing's missing, support@moxiworks.com. They can help you out with that. But yeah, we're here to help, and I never want to let any question go unanswered. But I appreciate you guys being on here. I think we got about 40 people at one time. Like I said, I'm going to break up these videos, and I'm going in. I had like 10 other videos that I have to update because the Moxi looks a little different. So as I update these videos, I'll be emailing them out, adding them to the hub. I like to create these little 1 to 3 minute videos that help show you, I'll do the full 10, but just some real digestible, easy to read or easy to view videos. I'll add all those to the page. Well, thanks guys. Erin's already ran, she had graduation. Thank you, Melissa. Thanks everybody for being here. And I'm gonna follow up this meeting with a link as well to all the resources that we have. And happy Friday.